Mark Rogers TV talking Big Ten Media Days. Ohio State, of course, owned the postseason in 2014 and 15. They owned the offseason headlines with the quarterback battle between Braxton Miller, and then finally we're down to two with JT Barrett and Cardell Jones. And now heading into Big Ten Media Days, the narrative is all about the suspensions handed down to the great All-America defensive end Joey Bosa and three wide receivers, Jalin Marshall, Dontre Wilson, and also Cory Smith. So Urban Meyer was the final Big Ten coach to hit the podium on Thursday, and of course he was asked initially about the suspensions. Well, he would not enlighten the media about exactly what the violations were. They are unspecified team violations, of course, but he emphasized that this is how Ohio State operates, that regardless of whether it's an injury, i.e. last year to Braxton Miller 10 days before the season started, then to JT Barrett in the fourth quarter of the Michigan game, going into the Big Ten title game, or now involving these four standout players, that Ohio State takes it in stride. They move forward. They recruit well for these situations, and they ask the next guy to step up. And Urban Meyer continually used the term move forward, move forward, move forward. We won a championship last year, moving forward, not dwelling on that, moving forward. We lose four players, we move forward, we play the next game. When asked about complacency, he said that he tries to keep the pulse of the team in the offseason by three metrics. Number one, how does the team do collectively in the classroom? And according to Urban Meyer, it's the best showing for an Ohio State football team ever, historically, in the history of the football program, in the classroom. Also in the weight room, are they working well, meeting goals, pushing the bar, on and on and on? And socially, are they staying out of trouble? And aside from this issue, which we haven't heard any more details about, Ohio State's been pretty clean this offseason. So he feels good about the football team and thinks that they're going to be ready to defend their crown. He was asked a ton, of course, about Braxton Miller's transition from quarterback to wide receiver. This is the best move for Braxton Miller, Urban Meyer believes, and of course, Braxton believes and his father believes in priming him for an NFL career. JT and Cardell, in working out with Braxton Miller as a wide receiver during the summer workout, says, hey, this kid can play wide receiver. He's an exceptional athlete. Urban Meyer didn't want to elevate Braxton over Percy Harvin, who he has always said is the most dynamic athlete that he has ever coached, but puts him in that classic in that classification. Urban Meyer's a former wide receiver coach. He said he will give his full attention to Braxton Miller's development, his footwork without the ball. He's starting with a footwork without the ball in his hands, and will primarily focus on Braxton day one of training camp in August. Braxton Miller came into the program and operated as a freshman quarterback under Luke Fickell in year one of 2011. Urban Meyer found a very dynamic athlete, but not necessarily the grinder that he wanted to see. He said that Braxton Miller is now a top 5 or 6 worker on this team. He says he's, quote, a serious dude right now. Great explosive first step, will be an impact player. When asked, hey, can this kid transform himself from a quarterback with an injured shoulder to a wide receiver that can make plays on the field in the Big Ten? Urban Meyer said, yes, he will be an impact player this fall. They need the depth at wide receiver. Of course, losing the three that they lost for the Virginia Tech opener in Blacksburg. You've got Braxton, you've got Noah Brown, who saw some significant playing time down the stretch last year. Of course, Michael Thomas, the most targeted of the wide receivers last year, had a big season for the Buckeyes and rated in our top 5 in the Big Ten this season. Urban Meyer also mentioned Curtis Samuel, who is going to get some play at H-back, and also Johnny Dixon. He's not concerned about wide receiver play despite the 3 big misses for game 1. The quarterback competition has already started, according to Urban Meyer. Of course, JT Barrett still a bit hobbled by that broken ankle against Michigan. He says that the competition is being measured and weighed step by step in everything that these two quarterbacks do, including leadership in the weight room, leadership elsewhere in the locker room, also including academics. But of course, once they get to 7-on-7 drills, that competition is going to amp up seriously. It's not going to all come down to numbers, though. There's going to be tons of statistical data, Urban Meyer says, but his gut instinct is also going to play into this decision. A lot going on with Ohio State football right now as the Buckeyes prepare for that Week 1 minus Bosa, Marshall, Wilson, and Smith. 4 very talented football players against the Hokies, who are going to be hungry at home on Labor Day night. That's it from Big Ten Media Days, and Urban Meyer would love to hear what you have to say about the Buckeyes right here on Mark Rogers TV.